Hello and welcome, wherever you are in the world right now. I'm glad you're here. Maybe you're lying in bed with the soft hum of night around you, or perhaps you're just beginning to wind down after a long day. What time is it for you? It just passed sunset, or deep into the quiet hours of early morning. And where are you listening from? A quiet village, a bustling city, a place touched by ocean wind or mountain air? Wherever you are, this space is yours now. A gentle corner of the universe where your mind can rest, and where curiosity drifts like starlight. Tonight, we're going somewhere deep and mysterious, to the edge of gravity, where light bends and time slows, into the heart of a black hole. Are you ready? Let's begin. Slowly, softly, just breathe and float. You close your eyes, and slowly the world around you softens. The hum of your day fades into a quieter rhythm, a rhythm older than clocks, more patient than tides. You drift, not away from reality, but deeper into it, to where it becomes quieter, subtler, more sincere. Out here, beneath the fabric of what you know, something ancient whispers. Space stretches, vast and slow, like a deep inhale. You are floating now, suspended in this wide stillness. No ground, no ceiling, just the hush of stars blinking from distances your body cannot walk, but your mind reaches without effort. Between those stars, something strange is happening, not in the fire of suns or the pool of planets, but in the tiniest corners where particles hide. There, in the quietest places, two particles can become one in their story, not merged physically, but bound in a way that defies all our old intuitions. When one turns, the other turns. When one feels, the other responds. No wires, no message sent, just knowing this is entanglement. And you are just beginning to feel it. Imagine two specks, too small for eyes, too light for scales. They are born together like twin sparks from a single flame. Then they part. One drifts left, the other right. Maybe across a room, maybe across a galaxy. Still, they remain linked, as if a thread runs between them, not a thread of string, but of meaning. You might ask, how? And the truth is, no one fully knows. But it happens again and again, in labs and in nature. It is real, verified, repeated, studied, yet still. It feels like a whisper from some deeper layer, something the universe does quietly, without ever explaining why. The language of quantum physics begins here. In the realm of the very small things, don't behave like pebbles or planets. There are no neat paths, no certain destinations. Particles are not little dots moving through space. They are possibilities, hazy, shifting waves of maybe. A particle is not in one place until it is seen, until it is touched, till it is known. And yet, when two are entangled, what happens to one happens to the other, instantly. Even if they're light years apart, even if no signal could possibly travel between them. It's as if space itself, the vastness between, doesn't matter anymore. Imagine two bells, far apart, yet tuned to the same silent music. You ring one, and though the second is untouched, it sings too. Not because sound traveled, but because they are one song. Entanglement is like this, the shared note played across the cosmos. Some call it spooky action at a distance. That was Einstein's phrase, half in awe, half in protest. He didn't like it. It felt too magical, too loose for the firm ground of science. He believed in order, in cause and effect, in space as a stage things must cross. And yet the stage itself seems to disappear here. This is not magic. It is mystery that has been measured. When scientists entangle two particles, say, two photons of light, they prepare them in such a way that their states are linked. Spin, polarization, momentum, these properties, though hidden until measured, mirror one another. Change one, and the other changes too. What you do to one, you do to both. And it doesn't matter how far apart they are. This changes things. Not just in physics, but in how you might see connection itself. Maybe the space between things is not as empty as it seems. Maybe, on the most subtle level, the universe is more together than apart. Not built of separate parts, but of relationships. Threads, not bricks. Entanglement shows us that the world isn't a collection of lonely objects. It's a pattern, a song, where each note listens to the others. Even silence has shape here. As you rest, let this idea hold you. What if distance is only a surface illusion? What if beneath the skin of space, everything touches? Look at your hand. The atoms inside it were forged in stars. Their particles, electrons, quarks, have danced in quantum entanglements since the dawn of time. You are, in a very real way, stitched into the universe. This isn't metaphor. It's science, wearing poetry. Entangled particles behave as if they share a memory, a promise. Once connected, always connected. Not in energy, not in force, but in information. It's as though reality keeps a gentle ledger, a record that never forgets who was once close. Even when separated, their choices are not independent. This puzzles physicists, thrills mathematicians, and opens doors for dreamers. In labs around the world, we use entanglement to send secret messages, to build unbreakable codes. This isn't just theory, it's technology, unfolding like a flower. Still here, in this quiet place, you don't need equations. You only need the image, to sparks, a thread between, a turning, a twin response, a universe that remembers. Entanglement teaches us that reality may be deeper than space, that connection can outlive separation, that what once touched, truly touched, never fully lets go. And now, as your breath slows, you might wonder, if information can leap across the cosmos in perfect harmony, then what else in this wide, silent universe might be quietly connected to? What if the dance of entanglement isn't limited to particles, but lives in some gentle way inside everything that breathes? Somewhere nearby, the smallest things are still dancing, and you are already part of the song. But what does it mean to move in rhythm, even when you are far apart? That's where the next part of the journey begins. Your body, your breath, all made of restless waves. You lie still, but within you, nothing is truly still. Atoms hum, electrons flit, particles drift in patterns too swift and too small for the senses to follow. It is quiet now, and in this stillness, you begin to feel something deeper than silence, the motion beneath the motion. You are made of the tiniest things the universe knows. And those things, they do not behave the way you expect. They do not march in neat lines. They dance. This is the world of quantum mechanics, not a world separate from you, but one within you. Not a cold world or a confusing one, but a shimmering, flickering sea of maybes. You might imagine a particle as a small marble, solid, precise, predictable. But down here, the smallest scale, marbles melt. A particle is not a thing, but a cloud of possibility. It is not here or there. It is both. It is everywhere it might be until it is touched. This is not a mistake in our thinking. It is what nature does. Electrons do not orbit like planets. They drift in probabilistic haze. They spin, but not like tops. They exist in a kind of poetry, not mechanics. You might wonder, if they are not solid, how do they form anything at all? How do they build your skin, your heartbeat, your memory? And yet, they do, with precision, the elegance, the dance becomes form. The wave becomes you. There is a principle in this tiny world, a rhythm beneath the steps. It is called superposition, the ability of a particle to exist in multiple states at once. It is not yes or no. It is yes and no. A light switch not flicked up or down, but balanced gently between. Think of standing at a forked path in a dream. In the quantum world, you walk both paths until someone looks. It is observation that chooses, that folds the many into one. This is not superstition. It has been seen again and again. In the double-slit experiment, a beam of particles behaves like a wave, rippling through two paths at once until you watch. Then it chooses. Then it collapses. The universe, it seems, performs until it is seen. This is not about conscious eyes, but about interaction. The world of the very small changes when it meets something larger. A camera, a wall, a sliver of air. It is contact that shifts possibility into certainty. But the dance, the dance before the touch is rich. It is a place of potential, of everything that could be, an entanglement, the connection you met in the last chapter is born from this space. It is what happens when two particles share a rhythm so deep that measuring one ends the other's dance. Instantly, as if they bow to the same music, even across the galaxy. And now you wonder, what guides this music? Some say it is randomness. Others say pattern. But perhaps it is like wind on water, unseen, but felt, unpredictable, but not without direction. Particles can tunnel through barriers. They can leap without crossing space. They can appear on the other side of walls, not by breaking them, but by not needing to go through at all. This is quantum tunneling, and your body uses it in the cells of your heart, in the sun's light that warms your skin. Without it, the stars would not burn. Without it, there would be no spark of chemistry to stir the oceans of early years. So you begin to see, this strange dance is not far away. It is you. You are a wave, collapsing and reforming with every breath. Your atoms have never stopped moving. They do not sit. They shimmer, and that shimmering builds thoughts, emotions, sleep. When you feel still, you are not. You are an ocean of movement, a storm made of softness, and somehow, out of all this uncertain motion comes clarity. Form, self, name. But is the self a boundary or a pattern? Are you a thing, or are you the momentary rhythm of a million tiny dancers? Quantum physics suggests the latter. There is no hard edge, only thresholds, only waves, overlapping waves, like music harmonizing into the illusion of shape and you are the symphony. You do not need to understand every note. You only need to feel the quiet awe that the most real parts of you are also the most mysterious. Let's go deeper still. Imagine a vacuum, a place with nothing, no air, nowhere, no light, no sound. Yet, even there, particles appear and disappear, borrowing energy, existing briefly, then vanishing again. This is called quantum fluctuation. It is the trembling of reality itself. Even in emptiness, the dance does not stop. Nothing is ever truly still. And from this trembling scientists believe came everything. The universe, born not from silence, but from the hum of possibility. A tiny imbalance, a ripple, a spark, and then stars, planets, time, you. And so, as you rest, your breath in rhythm with the invisible beat, you begin to sense that the universe is not a static thing. It is alive with motion, not frantic, but graceful. Each particle a note, each wave a phrase, each interaction a chord. You are not outside this song. You are inside it. You are it. And in this strange, shimmering harmony, something else is waiting. A story where two dancers share one motion, where two minds share one fate, and where even the smallest step changes the shape of everything. How can two particles, separated by silence and space, respond as one? Who first discovered this secret choreography, and why did it shake the pillars of what we thought was real? You begin to drift into that question, carried now toward a deeper mystery. You drift, weightless, through the folds of thought and memory. Not your own this time, but someone else's. Someone who once held the universe in his imagination and wrestled with its silence. Albert Einstein. You picture him not as the icon with wild hair and tired eyes, but as a thinker deep in a storm of wonder and doubt. A man whose mind stretched as wide as the stars, but who paused, uneasy, when the quantum world whispered something strange. He called it spooky action at a distance, a phrase that sounds like a ghost story. And in a way, this is the chapter where science meets its shadow. In the early 20th century, as quantum mechanics began to bloom, Einstein stood both within it and against it. He helped give birth to the theory, but when it started to grow in unexpected directions, he stepped back, cautious. He believed in rules, in cause and effect, in a universe that didn't roll dice in the dark. Yet there it was, this strange idea that two particles could be entangled, not by proximity, not by force, but by a thread that tied them invisibly, responding instantly, no matter the distance. Einstein did not deny the math. He questioned the meaning. What did it mean for reality? If two things could act as one, without touching, without time, without travel. He wasn't alone. Niels Bohr, Einstein's rival, and in many ways, his mirror, embraced the uncertainty, smiled at it even. He believed that mystery was not failure, but a feature of the quantum world, that nature, at its heart, was not obligated to behave intuitively. The two men debated across decades, letters, lectures, thought experiments. They circled around a central puzzle. Is the world complete as we see it? Or is something hidden, something deeper, unseen, unmeasured? Einstein proposed a test, a thought experiment, to show that quantum mechanics, as elegant as it was, must be missing something. He imagined two particles fired from the same source, spinning away in opposite directions. Measure one, and you know the other instantly. But how could that be unless they carried a shared script from the beginning? This became the EPR paradox. Einstein, Podolsky, and Rosen. Their paper asked, could there be hidden variables? Clues the universe simply hadn't revealed yet. It was a gentle protest. The universe must still have order. The thread must be local, physical, explainable. But then came the proof that changed everything. Decades later, a physicist named John Bell built a bridge between ideas and experiment. He showed that hidden variables, if they existed, must obey certain rules. And then, scientists put those rules to the test. Again and again, particles were entangled, separated, and measured. And again, the eerie thread held. The results whispered what Einstein could never accept: that the universe does not respect locality in the way we once thought. That entangled particles behave as one, not because of some forgotten signal, but because they are not truly separate. They are part of a deeper wholeness, a reality that is not split into here and there, but connected beneath the surface. So, perhaps, in a way, Einstein's ghost still lingers, not in defeat, but in wonder. He helped frame the question. Even if the answer slipped from his grasp, and you, floating now in this sea of unresolved beauty, can feel both the logic and the magic. You can hold the tension between doubt and awe. It is not childish to wonder. It is not unscientific too. Feel reverence. Even the greatest minds were moved by the mystery. And so you return to the idea of the thread. Entanglement. Two particles. One invisible connection. You imagine a coin flipped on Earth, and one flipped on a distant star, and somehow each knows how the other will land. Not because of fate, not because of communication, but because they were never fully apart in quantum terms. They are part of the same wave function, a shared possibility stretched across space. When one is measured, the wave collapses, and the other instantly follows suit. No message passes between them, no light travels. The response is immediate, not fast, not slow, but outside of time. This doesn't violate relativity, because no information is sent faster than light. Only correlation, only shared pattern. It's as if the universe, at its core, is less like a machine and more like a poem, one word affecting another, even from distant lines. And so you rest in this tension between Einstein's unease and Bohr's acceptance, between the comfort of certainty and the thrill of not knowing. You don't need to solve it. You only need to feel the weight of the question, the beauty of the puzzle. Because in the end, this isn't about choosing sides. It's about listening to the eerie thread that hums beneath the visible, binding the smallest things in a silent, sacred choreography. And now you might wonder, what does it feel like not to imagine, but to be one of those particles? To live as a twin across the stars, sharing a fate, echoing a partner's turn. You turn toward that question, softly now, as the dance continues. Imagine this. You are born with a twin, not beside you, but far away, light years across the sky. You cannot see them, you cannot hear them, and yet, when you shiver, they stir. When your heart leaps, theirs does too. This is not myth. This is quantum. Entanglement. Two particles, once connected, carry a thread between them, invisible, unbreakable, inexplicable. Even when torn apart by distance, the bond remains. It is not a bond of energy or force. It is a relationship. A deep, quiet knowing. You picture two photons, tiny packets of light. They're born together, like sparks flung from a single fire. From the moment of their shared birth, they are entangled, and from then on, each carries a whisper of the other. Now, imagine one of those photons drifting left, the other right, drifting not through wind, not through sound, but through space itself. Years pass, maybe centuries. One photon arrives in a lab on Earth. The other finds itself somewhere else, perhaps on the edge of Saturn's rings, or far beyond. It doesn't matter, because something incredible happens. A scientist measures the photon here on Earth, gently observes its spin, its orientation, its tiny secret. And in that very moment, the distant twin responds. It's not a signal. It's not a message. It's as if the two were never truly separate, as if they share not space, but identity. This is what it means to be entangled. They do not break the speed of light. They do not defy time. They simply reveal that time and space are not the whole story. You might ask, how can this be? Even Einstein struggled with this question. He believed there must be something hidden, some buried instruction both particles carried from the start. A secret agreement, encoded long ago. But experiments say otherwise. We've tested them again and again. The results are always the same. These particles don't follow a script. They decide together, no matter the distance. It's not that one causes the other. It's that they are entirely intertwined, like two coins flipped on opposite sides of the universe, yet always landing heads and tails in perfect balance. Not because one reacts to the other, but because they are part of the same moment. Now, you may wonder what this has to do with you. And here is where the poetry begins. Because you, too, are made of particles, entangled ones, ancient ones, born in stars, scattered through the universe, now resting inside your skin. Some of those particles are still entangled, still humming the echo of their twins. Wherever they may be, you are not an island of flesh and thought. You are a tapestry woven from threads that run outward, endlessly. Threads that may reach beyond what eyes can see, tugging softly in rhythm with distant echoes. And so, when you feel a strange longing, when your heart skips without cause, when a thought brushes your mind like wind in a closed room, who's to say what you are truly touching? Entanglement reminds us that connection is not bound by distance, that separation is not always real, that the universe, beneath all its apparent edges, is seamless. In this way, entangled particles are more than scientific curiosities. They are symbols of belonging, of memory, of mutual becoming. They teach us that identity can be shared, that two things can move as one, even in silence. This is more than metaphor. Physicists build technologies from this bond, quantum teleportation, not of matter, but of information, is real. When one particle changes, its entangled partner mirrors the change. This allows data to be transferred perfectly, without crossing space, not by sending, but by knowing, not by touching, but by being already touched. Even quantum computers, the most powerful calculating devices ever imagined, rely on entanglement. Their bits are not fixed as 0 or 1, but exist in superposition both at once, and become entangled. Their combined state holds more possibilities than classical bits ever could. In this entangled state, computation happens not in lines, but in patterns of shared knowing. Still, this isn't about machines, it's about you, your body, your breath, your place in this vast story. You feel alone, sometimes all humans do, but on a level far beneath your senses. You are already connected to the stars, to the stranger across the planet, to a twin you may never meet, but who turns. When you turn, not because of magic, but because of nature's quiet truth, that reality is not made of parts, it is made of relations. You rest deeper into this idea. You feel the pulse of your blood. You feel the beat of your heart. Each thump echoes the dance of particles inside you, spinning, leaping, turning in sync with the unseen. You are a living constellation of motion. You are a whisper of the cosmos, remembering itself. And as you float here, between science and sleep, you wonder, if entanglement is this real, if connection is this deep, what else in this universe is bound in hidden harmony? Does love have a quantum signature? Does memory ripple across the threads of being? Can two people feel the same sorrow, not from experience, but from structure? These are not questions with easy answers, but they are beautiful questions. And in the asking, you become part of the mystery. You are no longer looking at entangled particles. You are feeling like one, moving in tune with a partner you cannot see, becoming more than yourself, becoming us. And just as you begin to drift, eyes heavier, thoughts softer, a new question arrives, like a feather on the wind. If all of reality rests in uncertainty until it is seen, then what happens when we look? What role do you play in shaping what is real? You breathe in and begin to follow that gentle thread toward the quiet collapse of possibility. You drift in a soft place between sleep and thought. Here, in this dreamlike space, every road stretches open. You stand at 1,000 crossroads, and all of them are real, until the moment your foot touches one. Then the rest fade, not in anger, not in loss, just in acceptance, as if the world had been holding its breath and finally lets it go. This is the nature of dreams, and, strangely, this is also the nature of particles. At the smallest scale, the quantum scale, reality works. Differently, a particle does not exist in one place. It exists in many, all at once. It is not a point, but a possibility, a cloud of maybe, a ripple of potential. This cloud is called the wave function. It holds every version of where a particle might be, how it might spin, what it might become. It is a gentle murmur of alternatives, a hum of unfinished stories. But then something happens, an interaction, a measurement, an eye that watches, a hand that touches, and in that moment, the wave collapses. All the maybes fall away. The particle chooses, or perhaps it is chosen. This is called wave function collapse, the quiet end of ambiguity, the soft folding of the universe into one path. It is not violent. It is not loud. It is a surrender, a gentle tilt from all things. It's possible to one thing, actual, and it happens all the time. All around you, in the flicker of light off your skin, in the way your body warms beneath your blanket, in the way your eyes. Even now, take in this page or glow. Each interaction, each observation is a kind of decision, not of will, but of structure, not of thought, but of relationship. You are part of this, not separate from the quantum world, but living in its rhythm. You do not see the wave function, but you live inside its collapse. Your choices, your actions, your awareness all shape the unfolding of what is real. It raises a soft, trembling question. Is observation creation? Does the world exist in full, waiting to be found? Or does it unfold as it is touched? Physicists debate this, not with certainty, but with curiosity. Some say the wave function is just a tool, a map of ignorance. Others say it is real, and that we, by observing, help to carve reality from the unknown. You don't need to choose a side. You only need to feel the beauty of the idea, that reality listens, that it waits, and that your gaze might be part of the answer. Think of a moonlit lake, still and untouched. A single pebble breaks its surface, and the ripples are not just disturbance. They are clarity, definition. They mark where the surface becomes moment. Your presence, your perception is the pebble. You are not a watcher. From the outside, you are a participant, a co-author of unfolding. And if particles collapse into certainty when observed, then what truly is an observer? Is it only a measuring device? Is it only an eye, a camera, a lab? Or can it be a moment of attention, a being aware of another, a breath shared between subject and subject? Some scientists say that measurement is just interaction, any bump, any exchange of energy, but others wonder, could consciousness play a role? It is a fragile thought, controversial, easily misunderstood, and yet it lingers. If you are made of particles, and those particles behave as clouds until observed, then what is you? Are you the observer or the observed? the eye, or the wave, or both. You settle deeper into your pillow. Your breathing slows. You think of yourself not as a solid, but as a shimmering field of possibilities. Your thoughts, too, drift like wave functions until you choose one to follow. And in that choosing, in that gentle collapse, you become present. It is a kind of creation, soft, invisible, continuous, and it makes the world feel more alive, not as a fixed machine, but as a story unfolding one word at a time. Maybe the universe is not a book already written, but a poem still forming. And maybe your awareness, your gaze, is a brushstroke across the canvas in the stillness of this moment that feels true. And so you rest, wrapped in quiet wonder. The collapse is not an end. It is a beginning of clarity, a form of shared rhythm. But now another thought comes, like mist through trees. If even silence contains possibility, then what of the quantum world within your body? Are your cells, your senses, humming with the same strange music? You begin to follow that music softly toward the next unfolding. You rest in the hush of the in-between, not fully asleep, not fully awake. A soft glow surrounds your thoughts, like twilight wrapped in memory, and in that stillness, something deeper begins to stir inside you. The universe breathes, not in metaphor, but in motion, in law, in light. Your body is not separate from the stars. It is made of the same dust, shaped by the same rules, whispered into being by the same quantum truths. You feel your heartbeat steady, faithful, but beneath that rhythm, a quieter one pulses not. Mechanical, but fundamental, not visible, but essential. This is where biology meets. Quantum mechanics, where life and light intertwine in a dance older than memory, and you are the choreography. Your cells are not just bags of water and salt. They are miracles of precision. Molecules pass signals, exchange energy, copy code with an elegance that borders on the impossible. But how? How does a cell find exactly the right path in a chaos of molecules? How does an enzyme move electrons with such certainty? How does your body know? It may begin with quantum coherence, the ability of particles to stay in sync, to behave not as separate units, but as a unified wave. Inside the mitochondria, the tiny power plants in your cells' electrons move in ways that hint at quantum travel, not inching forward step by step, but flowing through multiple paths at once till the most efficient is found. This is not guesswork. This is quantum tunneling, particles leaping barriers they should not cross, arriving not by force, but by finesse. And in photosynthesis, this becomes even clearer in the green cells of plants. And in the pigments of your own eyes, light is not simply absorbed and used. It is guided, as if the molecule somehow knows the best way forward. That guidance may come from entanglement. Photons, particles of light, arrive from the sun. They strike pigment molecules, which pass the energy onward, not like a ball tossed hand to hand, but like a ripple, instant, precise, choreographed. This ripple may involve entangled particles, electrons linked not by touch, but by relationship. Their states affect one another instantly, ensuring that energy flows not randomly, but with astonishing grace. And what about your senses? Take smell. Not just a nose detecting shapes, but perhaps detecting vibrations. Some scientists believe your body can sense the quantum frequency of molecules tuning in, not to their form, but to their song or magnetoreception, the ability of birds to navigate by the Earth's magnetic field. They may use quantum entanglement in their eyes, particles dancing together, responding to the Earth's pull, a sense we barely understand, yet it happens, perhaps even within us, in ways we've forgotten. Your thoughts, too, may touch the quantum world. The brain is warm, wet, and noisy, not an ideal place for quantum delicacy. And yet, some researchers believe that quantum coherence may play a role. Though quiet corners of your neurons, microtubules, tiny structures within brain cells, might host quantum events. Small, fleeting moments of coherence, where thought flickers before it becomes memory. It is not proven, it is not certain, but it is possible. And possibility is where all quantum things begin. You are not just made of atoms. You are made of interactions, of waves of choices, of quiet synchronies. When you touch something, when you feel love, when you recall a face, these are not just chemicals moving. They are arrangements of energy, living patterns, encoded in quantum rhythms. Even your DNA, the thread of your being, is a structure that depends on precision, and some of its copying mechanisms may involve tunneling electrons, moving not over barriers, but through them, to ensure that the spiral is rewritten faithfully. Your entire body is a web of probabilities, softly collapsing into function again and again. You don't feel it, of course. You feel hunger, joy, warmth, ache. But beneath those feelings, the dance continues. And in that dance, entanglement may still be alive. Some of the particles in your body today may still be entangled with those scattered across the universe. Particles that once shared a bond, and now move in mirrored silence. You would never know. And yet, there might be echoes, subtle resonances, a dread, woven into the very act of being. You are not just a person. You are a pattern, a local expression of a universal rhythm. And if the particles within you hum in shared motion, then you are, in a real sense, an echo of the cosmos, not just shaped by it, but in conversation with it. This is not fantasy. This is the frontier of science, where biology opens its arms to the strange and the small, where quantum effects are no longer limited to cold labs and lifeless systems, but are discovered within the very breath you take. You rest more deeply now, held by the quiet thought that life is not separate from physics, that love, memory, healing, all may be informed by the same delicate rules that govern starlight and electron spin. And now another wonder stirs at the edge of your awareness. If your body remembers quantum law, if biology can whisper in particles and waves, then what about the world you touch? Could the everyday objects around you, your screen, your spoon, your voice, also feel the pull of entanglement? You breathe in, the dance continues, and you begin to drift toward the next quiet unfolding. You drift now through darkness, not a cold or lonely dark, but one filled with shimmer and suggestion, a space where silence breathes, and invisible lines hold everything in place. Here, in the gentle void, you begin to notice something strange. Not shapes, not colors, but patterns, like threads, glowing faintly in the black, curving, crossing, looping softly around you. They do not bind, they connect. You are floating in a web, not a trap, but a tapestry. This is not fantasy. This is what some physicists now believe may be the deep structure of reality. A woven field of entanglement, not added on top of matter and energy, but underneath them. You are used to thinking of particles as small things, bits of stuff, tiny beads that build the world. But perhaps this isn't the full story. Perhaps the world is not made of particles, but of relationships. Imagine a sheet of cloth. No thread has meaning on its own. Only when threads cross, when they twist and bind, does form arise. This is how some scientists now picture the universe as a fabric. A net not made from material, but from the way things are entangled with one another. At this scale, smaller than particles, deeper than atoms, space itself may be born not from distance, but from connection. This is the quiet revolution of modern physics. That information, not matter, may be the most basic building block, and that entanglement, the twin thread we've followed since the stars, is the loom on which the universe is woven. In this view, every particle, every photon is not an isolated note, but part of a chord. Entanglement tells us which notes are played together, which things are bound in mutual story. This is more than metaphor. Quantum physicists now study entire networks of entanglement maps that show how bits of information share structure. Even across vast emptiness, you tug one thread and another moves. You touch one place and something far away shivers. And from this net, space emerges. Distance, shape, gravity. These may not be primary. They may be consequences of deeper connections. It's a strange idea that the space between your fingers, the arc of a planet's orbit, soft curve of a shadow, could all be illusions made real by relationship. But it begins to make sense. The longer you rest in it, you have felt this before, haven't you? In the way grief leaps across miles, in the way laughter travels through eyes, not sound, in the way a single thought can bind to people. Though their bodies never meet, connection before contact, meaning before shape. This is what the universe may be whispering. Not chaos, but a kind of order. Not fixed law, but flowing coherence. Even black holes, those dense wells of silence, now seem to echo this truth. Once, they were thought to erase information, to swallow meaning itself. But now, we know better. Stephen Hawking showed that black holes glow, a quiet radiation at their edges, and others followed, revealing something more, that the information inside a black hole is not gone. It is stored on its surface, entangled with the particles outside. It is as if the black hole is not a hole at all, but a mirror, and the reality it contains is reflected in the threads that surround it. This is called the holographic principle. It suggests that everything inside a region of space may be encoded on its boundary, like a shadow holding the shape of its source, like a whisper carrying a full story. Your room, your body, the galaxy. All may be holograms, not in illusion, but in structure. The weave of reality does not thicken in the center, but shines at the edge. And in every woven point, entanglement hums. You are beginning to feel it now. The way this concept loops back to you, not just as a thinker of thoughts, but as a thread in the net. You are not drifting through the weave. You are the weave. Your thoughts, your cells, your memories, they do not sit quietly inside your skull. They ripple outward, entangled with the world that gave them shape. You are connected, not symbolically, but literally. And so when you rest your hand on a table, you are not just touching wood. You are participating in a story of shared structure, of particles that remember each other, of fields that hum with coherence. When you speak, when you sigh, you send waves through the weave, and the world shifts. If only a little dot in this view, reality is not a thing to look at. It is something to feel with. It is not a puzzle to solve, but a harmony to join. And so you float here, not as a questioner, but as part of the answer. And yet, something else stirs. Because if space and time are not fundamental, if they are born from entanglement, then what lies beneath? What is the loom that holds the threads? What is the music that guides the motion? You turn gently toward that next question, eyes closed, heart open, listening for the rhythm beneath rhythm. And in that silence, you begin to wonder, what is time, really? Could the future be tangled with the past? Somewhere in the dark, a flicker begins. Not a flash, not a flare, but a pulse, soft and sure. The kind of light that doesn't dazzle, but listens. You drift toward it, floating through a velvet sea. And in that glow, a story begins to unfold of two photons, born not beside one another, but within one another. Twins of light, dancing through space, bound by something deeper than gravity. This is the story of entangled photons, two particles of light, massless, tireless, timeless, that once shared a single origin, and now echo each other's every move, not because of force, not because of message, but because of something even stranger, a shared existence. You imagine them now, two slivers of radiance, spinning outward like sparks from a fire. One drifts left, the other right. They pass galaxies, nebulae, planets, but never forget. If you were to reach out to touch just one with a measuring hand, the other would respond instantly, no matter how far it had wandered. Their spins remain locked, not by memory, but by entanglement. It's not communication. It's not cause and effect. It is simply this: they are not two, they are one. And so, we say, not with certainty, but with awe, that these photons are in love, not with emotion, but with alignment, a bond deeper than distance, softer than time. Light is often described as a wave or a particle, but here there's a relationship, a commitment to remain together, even when apart. Photons are the most loyal travelers in the universe. They do not age, they do not rest. They move always at the same pace, the speed of light. To a photon, time does not pass. There is no before or after, only now, and in that eternal now. An entangled photon pair lives together forever. You might wonder what this means, not for theory, but for you, because the light that touches your eyes, that bounces off your skin, that pours through the leaves each morning, is made of photons. And some of them are entangled, still carrying the echo of their pair, still moving in tandem with something you cannot see, and still in their silent choreography. They show us what connection truly means. In quantum experiments, physicists use entangled photons to explore the edges of reality. They test Bell's inequalities, send keys across space for quantum encryption, even teleport quantum information from one point to another, not by pushing it through the void, but by using entanglement as a bridge, a hidden bond that allows two distant places to act as one. This is quantum teleportation, where information moves, not through space, but through structure. And it is only possible because of light's strange loyalty. Photons, when entangled, carry no message, but they carry meaning, a shared signature, a promise to behave together, always, and still they remain humble. They carry no mass. They are born in the heart of stars and die in the touch of your eye. They are the universe's most ancient storytellers and its gentlest. You sit with that now, the idea that light, which you once thought simple, is layered with complexity, that it holds not just brightness, but memory, and that may be dust. Maybe the universe is lit by the persistence of love, because what else can we call this endless, invisible bond? This willingness to echo a twin's truth, even after light years of solitude. It is not love in the way your heart aches. It is not love in the way a voice quivers, but it is loyalty. It is constancy. And perhaps that is a kind of cosmic devotion. Now you drift deeper still. You recall that in quantum electrodynamics, the theory that describes how light and matter interact, photons are exchanged constantly. They leap between particles, binding atoms together, mediating forces. They are the messengers, the glue, the unseen handshake between electrons. They make your body solid. They carry warmth from fire to skin. They flicker in every interaction, and still, you may arrive entangled, which means you are not just lit by photons. You are held by them. You are woven into their dance. You rest your head now and breathe in slowly. And you imagine, what if one of the photons in your body, now warm within a nerve or strand of hair, is still entangled with its twin, floating somewhere deep in space? What if right now, across the curve of the galaxy, another photon shifts because of something that moved in you? What if the universe doesn't echo after you, but with you? Not a mirror, but a duet. And if photons, the simplest of particles, can share such a bond, then what about atoms? What about people? You return to the question, not with urgency, but with wonder. What if we too are entangled? Not metaphorically, but literally. What if connection is not a feeling we chase, but a fact we carry? What if beneath the stories we tell, the arguments we endure, the silences we mistake for separation, there's a deeper harmony still in step? You settle into this idea now. It's like slipping into warm water, The room grows quieter, the space around you softer, and light, not the buzzing light of screens or cities, but the quiet light of entangled photons, continues to drift, faithful, delicate, unseen, still, holding hands across the void. And just as you begin to float into sleep, one last thought glows gently at the edge of your mind. If light behaves this way, if even photons can carry love across eternity, then what might time itself be entangled with? And who or what is waiting at the other end of that thread? The night is deep now. Still, you lie quiet, listening to the soft rhythm of your breath. And in that hush, a thought arrives, like a snowflake, drifting gently down. What is a secret? Is it something we hide or something we protect? Is it a burden or a bond? You carry secrets, of course, some tiny like folded paper, others vast, like oceans locked behind your ribs. And so does the universe. But unlike us, the universe does not use locks or keys made of metal. It uses something much stranger, something you've come to know well by now. Entanglement at the frontier of science, where information and mystery meet. There lives a discipline, both ancient and new, CRYPTOGRAPHY. The art of hiding truth in plain sight, of turning language into puzzles. For centuries, secrets were guarded with cleverness, codes, patterns, algorithms, but all of these could be broken given time, power, and patience. Then came quantum physics, and with it, a revelation. There may be some secrets that cannot be stolen, because the act of trying to steal them. This is the strange beauty of quantum CRYPTOGRAPHY. It begins, as always, with light, with photons, flickers of pure energy, moving at the speed of silence. Each photon can be set in a specific state, a kind of orientation, like a spin or a twist. And because of quantum law, that state cannot be copied. It cannot be measured without changing it. This is known as the no-cloning theorem, a gentle, unbreakable rule of the quantum world. If you look too closely, you change what you see. And so, if someone tries to intercept a quantum message, to read the photons as they pass, they leave fingerprints, not physical ones, but mathematical scars in the pattern. It is as though the message knows it has been touched. This allows two people, call them Alice and Bob, as physicists often do, to share something precious across space, a quantum key they send entangled photons, or prepare them in matching states and compare notes. If the pattern holds, they know the message is pure, untouched, private. But if something feels off, if the pattern has been disturbed, they know someone has listened, and the key is discarded, the secret left untold. It is not just security, it is a kind of intuition, a way of building trust, not on faith, but on physics. You breathe that. And now, the idea that science, in its most precise form, can become a guardian of intimacy. No walls, no passwords, no guards, just entanglement. Just the impossibility of unnoticed touch. In this way, even photons carry ethics. They remind us that trust and transparency are not opposites, but partners. You imagine now a world that moves by quantum key, where communication is not just fast, but honest, where banks, governments, strangers all speak in a language that cannot be faked, where the simple act of being listened to always leaves a trace. It sounds like magic, but it's not. It is tested, proven, already real, already growing. Some nations have launched quantum satellites, sending entangled photons across hundreds of kilometers to establish secure channels that no hacker can break. And researchers continue to dream forward of quantum internet, a future network built not on cables and firewalls, but on entangled light. The thought makes you smile, that in a world filled with noise, there is still something that whispers only the truth. And more than that, it protects the truth by revealing when it has been touched. You feel your own body now, your own thoughts, the secrets you hold, not the ones you hide, but the ones you cherish. The ache that know. One knows the hope you don't yet dare to say, the memory that only lives in your bones. These, too, are sacred. And if photons can carry truth so gently, if light itself can be trusted, then perhaps you can trust yourself, too. Perhaps, deep down, there is a part of youth that knows when it's being seen, that feels the difference between attention and intrusion. That part of you, your inner quantum thread, deserves the same careway. Give to fragile particles of light you are not built for walls. You are built for boundary, for knowing what is shared and what is held. And now, as you close your eyes a little more, as the space around you softens into blur, you wonder if information can be sacred, if truth can protect itself. Then, what if time, too, carries memory? The night has grown deep and around you. The world grows quiet. Even your thoughts begin to whisper, softening into the folds of sleep. You've wandered far through particles and photons, through silence and song, through secrets wrapped in light. And now, a final thought drifts close. What if the universe remembers you? Not like a photograph, not as a file stored in some distant archive, but as a resonance, a vibration woven into the very weave of things. Because in the quantum world, nothing ever truly disappears. Not energy, not information, not even you. Every breath you've taken, every step, every sigh has nudged the world in some direction. A pebble dropped into a lacusse. The pebble sinks, but the ripples continue. They spread far beyond what you can see, beyond what you can measure, but they are real. In physics, this idea has a name: unitarity, a quiet principle that says the total information in a closed system is conserved. This means that whatever happens, the information, the essence is never lost. It may change shape, it may stretch or bend, hide or scatter, but it never vanishes, even in the darkest places, like black holes. We now believe information must be preserved, that somehow, in ways we don't yet understand, the universe remembers every photon that fell in, every atom that once was warm and breathing, not as a memory with eyes, but as structure, as pattern, as rhythm. And if that is true, then perhaps the universe remembers you, too. Not in the way a person remembers a name, but in the way a song remembers every note, in the way a tree remembers the rain. Not as drops, but as growth, your choices, your laughter, even your moments of stillness. They shaped the geometry of the world. You are not separate from the story. You are written into it. Not ink on paper, but motion in matter. Form in the field, the molecules in your hand were once stardust. They lived in suns, danced in comets, settled into oceans, and found their way into you. But even when you are gone, even when your skin returns to the earth, the story continues. Those particles will move again. They will become air, water, leaf, or maybe someone else's breath. And just as your atoms carry the memory of stars, they will carry the memory of you in this way. You are never forgotten because you are never separate. There is a theory in physics, still unfolding, still young, called the quantum Darwinism hypothesis. It suggests that the universe records information about every system in the surrounding environment, like imprints on glass, like shadows on a wall, that even as you sit in a quiet room, photons are bouncing off your body, carrying whispers of your presence into the world. The room remembers you. The air remembers your warmth. The light remembers your form, not in a conscious way, but in the way the world builds itself. Nothing is ever truly erased. Everything leaves a trace, even your thoughts. Tiny chemical ripples inside the brain cause particles to shift, release heat, disturb a field. Each one is a signature, a ripple, a mark of being here. You may forget these thoughts. You may drift into dreams and let go of the day behind you. But the universe does not let go. It folds your presence into its fabric, like threads in a vast, invisible loom. And so, tonight, as your eyes grow heavy, know this: you are not lost. You are not note in the song, a necessary curve in the spiral, a gesture in the great unfolding. The stars are not above you. They are within you. The dust of your bones was once the breath of galaxies, and what you give the world, your light, your weight, your warmth does not disappear. It resonates. You are remembered not in books or monuments, but in the very shape of space, in the echo of particles, in the music of matter. Because the universe is not silent. It holds with memory. It holds every moment, not in judgment, but in presence. And just as it remembers you, so you remember it, in the quiet between thoughts, in the feeling that you are part of something more, not above or below, but within, a wave in the ocean, a leaf on the wind, a thread in the weave. You are not alone in this moment. You never were, even now. As sleep rises like tide water, you are entangled in everything, in stars, in silence, in laughter you don't yet know. Let that thought hold you. Let it carry you, like driftwood cradled by the sea. And if you dream, dream not of forgetting, but of remembering. Because you are more than this single night. You are the ripple and the cause, the note and the melody. the question, and the echo. And somewhere, out there in the dark, the universe sings softly, and your name is part of its song. Thank you for floating this far through particles and photons, through silence and song. You've wandered gently at the edge of knowing, where science and wonder become one. Tonight, you've touched the invisible threads that we've spaced time and thought into being. You are not separate from the cosmos. You are part of its quiet rhythm. So rest now. Dear traveler of the very small, let your breath slow and your thoughts soften into stars. The universe is still humming, and somewhere in that music, it remembers you. Good night.